Hi, I'm Randy Altman with Post Perspective. We're here with Ramy Katrib from DigitalFilm Tree. Hello, Ramy.
Hi, Randy.
How are you?
I'm doing very well. Good to connect with you like
Same
this.
here. At least it's a connection of some kind. We'll never be able to meet again, but this is this is good. So I just wanted to talk to you about NAB or well, the cancellation of NAB, obviously. But you were planning on attending. Can you talk about what your plans were for the show?
Sure. And actually, before NAB, a fair contingent of our staff were planning to go to South by Southwest.
Ooh.
And so that was like the first time where we were like, whoa, didn't see that coming. South by Southwest was canceled. And then shortly thereafter, our friends and colleagues at Stanford University had one of the first essentially shutdowns of the entire academic program, and then NAB. So for us, it started with South by Southwest, Stanford, because we're doing a project with Stanford right now. So we were actively working with them, and then NAB. But then to answer your question, NAB is that yearly pilgrimage, right? I've been doing it for, I don't know how many years, at least 15 years or so now, probably more. And we were going to go there to have meetings with folks from around the world, to socialize some of what DigitalFilm Tree is doing, and also some other software efforts that we've also been engaged in. So it was essentially to do everything that we usually do at NAB, including going to the outer confines to look at those obscure startup companies, which I've always enjoyed doing on the outer edges. Which is what I enjoy most about NAB.
Well, first, let's tell people what you guys do. You're a post-production house that has been around, independently owned, that's been around for years. So why don't you just give us a little quick rundown of what you guys do?
Sure. Last week was our 21st anniversary.
Wow.
So remarkably, DigitalFilm Tree has been around for 21 years. We started actually way back when as an educational company. We were kind of very early adopters of things like Final Cut Pro, and not to sound silly, but just a notion of using a computer. Back when FireWire was introduced on the blue and white Mac G3, and I was working in a negative cutting company, cutting negative. And so we made some discoveries in terms of transferring film to the little cute mini DV tape, and then digitizing it into Final Cut and replicating the digital film editing process. That then led to education, and somewhere along the way, when we were educating people here in the Hollywood community, like the Editors Guild members, we became a post house. And that led to us meeting Walter Murch, who I was just talking to just the other day. He's bunkered down in London with his wife, and he's doing well. So we became a post house over time, and then primarily started focusing on working with the studios and scripted television. So today we work on a host of scripted television projects like Umbrella Academy, NCIS LA, The Connors. But the thing that has not been so publicly known about us is, for about 10 years, we have been a software development company. And, you know, we started with working with files, and then servers, and then cloud. And we've always had a software effort to solve for our own problems, like the problems of DFT staff now all working from home, our clients all working from home. So that's where I guess you would say we're a little novel. We solve our own problems while using all of the best tools in the industry, whether it's Resolve or Avid or Frame.io or Autodesk or Unreal or Unity. So we partake in all the best tools, and then whenever there are gaps, we decide to fill them ourselves. And I have to say, with what's happened with COVID-19, within 1 week, the majority of our staff were working from home. All our clients were working from home, and we were in a situation where we still had to deliver shows like a normal post house. So we actually never missed in airing. So like shows like NCIS LA has been airing new episodes going back 2 months from home, which is remarkable. That's color, conform, delivery, visual effects, titling has all happened from home. And I don't think that would have been possible were it not that we've always had an interest in remote post. We always have. But now it's like all of a sudden at people's home. And then we realize, well, we can do this from home, but one of the biggest gaps or pain points was like security from home. Like, you know, we think that that's an area that's relatively unaddressed because like people have crappy internet, crappy ISP providers. Then all of a sudden they have to do professional like work from home all of a sudden. So we started solving for those types of challenges as well.
So what did you do? How did you prepare for that? Because security is a huge issue. So how do you guys solve it?
We have a pretty serious security officer, network and security officer. So, you know, in a nutshell, we essentially put routers with our own recipe right into the home so that now we could not only facilitate the best possible network, even if you have a crappy ISP provider to your home, we solve for that. And then we also solve for having real security, enterprise security from home, right? Which is kind of novel. But we had been doing that for clients and professional environments like facilities. We just pivoted it to the home. So the home gets the same thing that a studio facility does. And, you know, that includes not just network monitoring, but intrusion monitoring and even helping certain home users know that, you know, there's other services available to them that are better than what they have. You know, once you get into the weeds of using the internet to do production and post, you start to learn a lot about various ISP providers. Some are better than others. Some are on top of others, right? So you can be like Joe's ISP, but he's using, you know, another ISP's wire to get your signal somewhere else. So we're able to know a lot of that and solve for it. I hope that made sense.
Absolutely, totally does. So how do you see the post-production industry changing based on what's been going on with the virus and about how people are having to some people scramble to do remote work? Some companies were more prepared than others, but how do you see it changing going forward?
That's the big question. Based on what I've seen by having a lot of relationships with clients and colleagues that are working from home, it's kind of a mixed bag. Some people like it, some people hate it. I think what's going to happen is some measure of our community in production and post are going to want the opportunity to work on home like on Friday, just for shits and giggles. Why not? I'm staying home because I can. So I think that will be the major shift after we get back on track, after things start to open up, after production start to happen. So that percentage of our population having the option of working securely and effectively at home is what will change after COVID.
Which is kind of nice because our industry tends to work crazy hours.
Yes.
So working from home is a nice, refreshing change from pulling all-nighters and things like that.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, Ramy, thank you. Anything else I haven't asked that you think is important?
Yeah, related to your question of what will change, the other area that's just burgeoning for us, and I think for many others, is the notion that we can commingle virtual production workflow with traditional physical world production so that they're complementary. So things like pre-visualization, or even helping a company that has, you know, wants to do a commercial about their furniture. Well, what we're finding is if you have an asset, a 3D asset of your furniture, we can actually still put your commercial forward even now. So there's a lot of new creative options that are now being revealed to people who did not know it. And the way we're approaching it is just practical virtual production techniques and workflows that help traditional production folks. Not just necessarily putting this on and being in a virtual environment, but there's a lot of other practical things that virtual production can bring to the table of our community.
Interesting. Have you seen work coming in like that over the last month?
Yes, we have. We're engaged. We're working on one project which I can't speak about, which emanated from something that happens in the physical world but cannot now because production is down. So we're actually iterating on putting it forward with some level of ambition, production ambition that would normally happen in the physical world, but we are now actually with guidance from people who are very thoughtful about how things should be done in the physical world. We're now doing it in the virtual world, as it were.
Very cool. Well, I look forward to hearing what the project is and seeing it when you're allowed to talk about it. Ramy, thank you so much for taking the time, and it's always great to catch up, talk about technology and trends. Thank you.
Likewise, Randy, I look forward to having a virtual happy hour sooner than later.
Yes, let's make that happen, please. Thanks, Ramy.
Take care.
All right, you too.